About a year, and we
About a
are
year.
live. That's how long I've been doing YouTube. No, what's up, party people?
Sorry.
Welcome back to Let's Get Lit. Got Mariah Gates on here, a newfound friend in my life. So, guys, this girl's pretty impressive. I just connected with her. She's been in the top 10% of farmers agencies, been in the insurance industry for 17 years, the financial service industry, 9 years in banking, and 8 in insurance. She has helped over 300 agents build their own CRM solutions, which I'm very picky about. So I will give you all the kudos in the world because I think everybody and their mother has a shitty go high level that they just sell to people and wonder why their churn is so high. So kudos to you
Yeah.
for actually doing something that is impressive and actually helpful. I'm very thankful for that because I cannot stand when people scam. I think it's disingenuous. So we're about to pick Mariah's brain apart, dissect it right after this short commercial break that is brought to you by yours truly. So let's play this and get into it. All right, so Mariah, how you doing, girl?
I'm doing great. Doing great.
Well, that's good to
Thanks for
hear.
having me. I'm excited.
No, I am too. Every time I hear your name, it instantly goes to Mariah Carey. Why are you so obsessed with me? I don't know why that song got stuck in my head from the school bus like 15 years ago, but it's ingrained in there. So you're always first to mind when it comes to CRMs now. So you got that
Well,
going for you.
my first name is Mariah. My last name is Gates. So it's either Mariah Carey or Bill Gates that people like always bring up when I'm talking to them.
Technology and a singer. Well, it's a good reference. It's a good anchor for you. It'll dictate business. So let's dive right into this. So you're really good with your CRMs. I'd love to kind of dive into that. Maybe this will generate some sales for you. Guys, for real, go hit her up. If you're any type of agency need tracking automation stuff, I've got my own go high level that took me a long time to build. I hate selling it because I'd rather sell one time that's really expensive than $100 month over month and deal with 5,000 people. So this is where Mariah is I think I even made a special banner for you, the Automation Queen, ladies and gentlemen.
Uh,
So let's
Thank
dive
you.
into this. So why'd you get into automation?
I got into automation for my own agency. I've been an agency owner for 8 years. This is my second office I've owned because I moved to a different state, and I got out of banking because I was working like so much, and it was kind of a thankless job as a branch manager for a large bank. Didn't enjoy it and got into insurance to own my own business because I wanted the goal of having freedom of my time and family time. My kids were 2 and 3 when I started my adventure in business ownership. And, 5 years in, I was still just working so much and grinding and had a lot of success with my agencies, but didn't get my freedom that I wanted. And when I came across the CRM that I use, so I don't provide the CRM. I'm not the developer or anything like that. I work with agencies Zoom primarily, but we help other people with other systems. When I came across it and saw the power of that, because the system that my captive company gave me was not good at all, extremely limited and restrictive. I just saw the power in that and saw the freedom that I was looking for because I hadn't gotten to a place where I was like, I wanted to have this big, huge staff. I have this weird thing with a ton of employees. I really like people to kind of manage themselves to a point. And if they need a lot of hand holding or micromanaging, it's just not a good fit for me. But with automation, I could take the really good staff that I had dialed in and allow them to do so much more with their time and make their jobs easier. Also, systemize my agency because if you look at any of the really like big successful companies out there, what their customers get from them is a consistent customer experience. But in my agency, it was inconsistent because we didn't have well documented written steps and policies and procedures for each touch point with a client. And we were missing a lot of opportunity because we weren't recycling leads, we weren't systematically cross selling our book and reaching out for retention. And I just saw this tool that could do all of these things that I always had on my to-do list, but never had the time over 5 years to get to. And that started my journey. So I just started building it for my own office and stepped away from selling and servicing and spent about a year really learning it, building out templates, dialing it in, testing, readjusting. I actually lost an employee because I changed things so often. She didn't like that much change. And I'm like, that's fine. I'm going to keep changing, innovating. Like, you can go. It's not a good spot for you anyways. And then, yeah, that's how I got into it. And it just changed my life. It gave me my life back.
So I fully support using CRMs to replace boring $5 an hour mundane work that you don't need to do. And even sometimes you can't do because it'll take up all your time. If you, wild scenario here, make a TikTok video, it blows up for insurance sales, and you have 4,000 people reaching out to you and opting in, you can't call all of them. You can't text all of them by yourself, probably in a whole month. So what kind of things have you seen as far as like statistics go for like retention, getting people to come back to you or stick with you, reduce churn? Like, what have really been the positive effects on this in your business?
So we've always been pretty good on our retention as a captive agency. So I'm a farmers agency currently, and we've always been better than our state average and territory average for retention. Our retention hasn't drastically improved. What has drastically improved is our policy penetration rate for our existing clients. So because we can clearly see our book and communicate with our book and we stay in touch, we get responses even from automations that are going out that just say, happy 4th of July. I hope you enjoy some family time and, happy birthday to America, something like that. We'll get people that will text back like, hey, we're actually going out and buying a ATV this weekend or whatever. And it just keeps us in front of them so they don't forget to come back to us when they need more. So we have a average policy penetration rate of 2.85 policies per household right now, which is well over the average for our company. And that has helped with our retention, helped us to maintain it, but grow our book without spending a ton of money on like leads and marketing. So I know you talk about this pretty often about your bottom line. And since I've been building automation for agents, I get a lot of back end look into these agencies and the money they're spending on marketing, and some of these agencies that are putting out really big numbers, which is wonderful, but they're spending a lot of money on marketing.
A lot of money to acquire them.
Their profit margin is the same or less than mine, and we have a very small marketing budget because of how we choose to do business. So at the end of the day, it's all about your profit, right? I mean, you can bring in revenue, that's great, but if you're putting out just as much money in marketing or in expenses, then it's not worth it.
Yeah, I want to touch on something
found
right there. And then I have a question for you, a very serious question, if you're up for the challenge.
Sure.
Okay, so what you mentioned about a marketing budget, that's what I love about organic, is because when you can get paid to acquire customers by liquidating acquisition cost, you have no marketing budget. And when you do decide to run ads, you can pay the most to acquire a customer, which means you win.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my serious question is, with all this fluid craziness and the prices of inflation jacking everything up, do you guys insure eggs? I know you're in farmers agent, so.
I'll tell you, here in Idaho, we had a lot of farmers, and so we don't really have an egg problem. I have several friends who have all their own chickens because we're a little self-sustaining over here in our little city or our little state of Idaho. That would be hilarious, though. We should do that.
I love it. I saw that post.
I love the memes. I love all the memes of like like buy or something expensive, and it's like an omelet.
It's a pack of eggs or something. Yep. Yeah.
I know.
Speaking of Facebook, I'm not sure if you saw that post I made a while ago. It's like $18,333 a month.
I know, and everyone's like, dude, check your calendar.
So many people got pissed off. I'm getting messages calling me a dumbass. That's Kentucky math. And I'm like,
well, but then people started catching on. They're like, whoa, wait, you're doing this for engagement, aren't you? Like,
it's like, how people would rather be right. And that's fine. I'll play to your psychology. I'll play to your human nature, because now people are seeing posts from months ago and booking calls already. It's engagement. But what you just said about that was attention. When you send out those 4th of July text messages, it keeps you at the forefront of their thoughts. Time is not money, because if no one knows your name and you have all the time in the world, it's not very valuable. I would
Yeah,
say
and we,
attention is money.
when I talk to agents and we talk about processes or systems, like I initially, when I first started doing this, I had a lot of like customizations to my services, and asked them in the intake process. I would ask them about their own services or their own processes. Sorry, and I was really shocked to find out that 99% of the agents had no process at all. I would say, how often is your producer expected to follow up on a sales call? I don't know. How many times do you call your leads? Well, we call them right away. Okay. How many times do you call them over the next 2 weeks? Like zero. They don't. So there was none of this. And then I went to a conference I was asked to present at, and they were saying that statistically, people call a lead twice and then get pissed at the lead company that the lead is bad. That's just not true. That's not how that works, right? So a lot of times you have to ask multiple times, and I'm not saying that you have to buy leads, and that's not necessarily the only way to get business. But when people get to that point and then blame the leads, when you have zero sales process, zero follow-up process, you didn't text them, you didn't email them, that it's not the lead company, it's you. It's the way you run your agency. And if you don't have those processes in place, you're just working a hell of a lot harder than you have to.
Well, I will say that now that we have mortgage brokers leaving by the droves, coming over, joining all these companies, you can expect your lead quality to go down, your lead quantity to go up, your lead cost to go up, and you're going to be fighting with every Tom, Dick, and Harry over the same lead. Because if you do have a good sales process, if you are following up and you're working leads, sometimes it is the lead company's fault, because these companies will go advertise on Facebook, what's your favorite color? It'll cost them 70 cents to generate that lead. They'll sell it for 20 to 20 agents. Now they're making $200. 20 agents are working for the same lead. Then they'll resell that same lead 6 months later for $10, make an extra couple hundred. It's like the profit margins on that. I love it from a business standpoint. But it's like, I feel sorry for the bottom line agents who are just being told to buy more leads, do more activity. I think it's bullshit.
Well, and here's the thing is, if you have ever bought leads or you're buying leads now, do you know what your contact rates are, your quote rates, your close rates? Are you tracking it? And the answer to every agent I talk to is they don't really know. They're supposed to track it in the lead vendor's portal. They never go back there and check the box. Through our automation, the lead comes in automatically into the CRM. Texts and emails start going out. Your producer is reminded to call. But as soon as it comes in and you move them to contacted and then to quoted and to sold, it automatically tracks all that data. So if you are trying to weed out the really crappy lead companies, you need to know what's going on with the leads, right? So I've been an agent for 8 years, and I just started buying leads last March for the purpose of testing automation, right? I just needed to like run scenarios. We did all of our organic marketing up to that point. And I have run, I think I'm on my 5th lead vendor right now. We run them for 3 to 4 months minimum. So we get enough volume to check the results. And then we decide if we're going to stick with them or not based on the ROI and the actual, return. We also recycle all of our leads. So if you call a lead once and then you put them in a little paper file and intend to call them next year, and you never do, and you have this file that's just ancient sitting in your desk, you're spending more money than you need because you have this massive plethora of leads that you are not continuing to touch. We touch every single lead, even if they ghosted us from the beginning, for a minimum of 3 years before we stop contacting them. So they can ghost us for 3 years, but we've still tried. I even have some agents who have it on a perpetual recycle. They never ever reduce. And this would be the same for any organic lead or paid lead. It doesn't matter where it came from.
It's in the
Even if it's a
follow-up.
cross sell, if you have a monoline auto client or a life insurance client, and you're trying to sell another product, and you ask once and you never ask again, you're just working a lot harder than you have to. Just because it's no today doesn't mean it's no tomorrow. And people's lives change all the time. So we constantly get responses from our automation where they said no last year, and this year they just went through a divorce and now they need their own insurance, and their husband handled the insurance and now they don't know what to do, or they moved and they are buying a new house, or it just happens. So if you're not in front of people and checking back in with them, you're just missing out on a ton of opportunity that somebody else is going to get.
Life happens. They look at these leads like it's a crisis. I look at it as an opportunity. If you don't buy today, you'll buy eventually. Like most of my coaching clients now are coming from 6, 7, 8 months ago. But I
Mm-hmm.
just kept working and it kept giving more than I took.
even your clients that cancel, like this is always surprising to me because we have a win back campaign. And so I ask agents, how often do you touch back on your clients who have canceled? Oh, never. Some of these agents take it personally and they're like, they're dead to me. I'm like, okay, like that's great business model, I guess. But I
A
mean, there's
beautiful
still a
mindset.
potential. I'll just hopefully they end up in my agency one day. Because when people leave, we try to keep them, and then of course we let them know, hey, things change all the time. Rates change, policies change, life changes. We'll just reach out next year and see if we're a better fit. We still would love to work with you. We leave the door open, and then we throw them in our automation and keep hitting them until they reach back, they respond or we get another chance. And we rewrite a lot of our people that have left because rates shift all over the place in the property and casualty world,
Yeah.
life as well. It doesn't move as fast in the life insurance industry with rates, but property and casualty does.
One thing I'm really surprised that no one does for their agencies that I'm now doing for my coaching members is generating leads for them at no cost. Like I'm taking the overhead and the risk, but it's like if you're dependent on someone else's lead system, like most of these mortgage protection places, what happens when interest rates go up and people stop buying houses? Lead quantity goes down, lead quality goes up, lead price goes up. You have very different supply and demand chains. And it's like if you're dependent on someone else's shit, this company could go bankrupt. This company could go bankrupt, and now you're bankrupt because you're
I
dependent
had
on someone
I had a
else's
VA
lead
company that
system.
I hired that went under and didn't even tell us. Like, you just ghosted everybody. Luckily, I had a direct connection to my VA, so I got to keep him. But that stuff happens all the time. You should have, and this is my experience, this is my opinion. You should have at least 5 marketing sources running at all times, minimum.
Yeah, and it's like 20% of their of them will generate 80% of the results. You'll have a superstar, but it's like so many people
But
reach
again,
out to me
most
about it
people
on.
don't even know what that is. They don't even know what their best marketing is because they don't track it. I see
No,
it
they
every
don't
day.
track it. They don't care. They run this like a rinky-dink mom and pop shop insurance agency. No, it's a fucking business. And like when I hear people blame other people, like take some fucking ownership and accountability over your life. Quit lying to yourself and telling yourself a story about why you're not where you want to fucking be at. It's disgusting, and no one likes a liar.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there's with insurance, what I've seen is that you can be an average or poor business owner, not poor money wise, but like bad business owner, and still make money because insurance, there's so much opportunity. Everybody has to have it,
Everyone's
right?
gonna die.
Right. Everyone has to have, everyone should have life insurance. Everyone has to have car insurance, home insurance. You can be pretty mediocre, if not kind of horrible, as a business owner and still limp along for quite a while. If you are in any other industry, if you are trying to create your own business from scratch and your own need in the market, those people would never make it past their first 6 months because they don't have the business acumen. And what I experienced as an agent is I came from sales and in banking in the financial sector, and I was recruited. And my skills at that time, I was a producer, but I became an agent. I didn't know anything about running a business. And you're taking sales skills now trying to run a business. And if you do not develop beyond that into a business owner, you're either going to struggle for a very long time and be unhappy, or you're just not going to be in business for very long. That's what I see on the insurance side is that's a lot of insurance producers who become business owners.
They're so scared to invest, and I cannot stand this. They walk around saying they pop their little tie up and they say, "I'm a business owner." I'm saying, "No, you're not. You own your own job. No one would buy that."
You're self-employed. There's a big difference. Self-employed business owner.
There's 5 external functions to any business. And before I go into that, it's like when I see people scared to invest in coaching, CRM systems, and processes, I'm like, this problem is going to get so big one day that you wish you would have done this while you had the fucking money. It's like,
So I'll be completely honest with this. I was definitely one of those people. I was extremely skeptical. I thought I knew better than everybody else, which was very just young and naive of me. And I didn't invest in my first coaching program until I saw an agent who I knew and respected do a testimonial for a program. I reached out to him. I'm like, hey, is this really legit? He's like, yeah, it's really legit. And at that time, I didn't have the money to invest in the program, but I did believe that it was the right thing to do. And I actually, because I'm a farmer's agent, I went to my district manager. I'm like, man, I really want to do this program, but like I'm trying to save up for the money. And that DM wrote me a check and said, pay me back when you can. and get into your first program. And after I bought my first program, I'd offered to pay him back 3 months later because I already made up all the money and was able to like had
Probably said, just
extra to
keep
pay
it.
him
You've made
back.
me enough in overrides.
That's exactly what he said. He said,
Let's
keep it. And
go.
he goes, keep it and run a couple of calls for our district and show them what you learned. I'm like, deal, like I'll do that. And that was an amazing thing for him to invest. But if I hadn't just brought it up in a meeting, right? I just like, hey, I really want to do this, but man, I can't do it yet. If I hadn't just taken the chance, I would never have gone through that experience. Now I buy a lot of programs, but after that one program, it completely changed the way I thought about my business. And now I am happy to invest, get my time back, and allow myself to focus on what I know makes me business, because now I have a business owner mindset. Before I just had kind of a self-employed mindset.
Well, it's just now that you know that, you can give transparency and clarity to other people because you cannot listen to what the world tells you, especially school. They teach you to cover your answers. Don't work with anyone else. Don't look in the book. Don't copy. It's like that's everything opposite of what you should do as an entrepreneur. You need
That's
a
the
team.
opposite of life. If my employees don't use their resources first, I don't answer their questions. Like that's just life. Use your resources. If there's a book on it, open the book.
Yeah,
I
ask three
homeschool
before
my
me.
kids, so you are preaching to the choir. I do not have my kids in public school. I think it is a disaster.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Like I think all the schools should be burned down. Make sure the children are out of there first. I can't believe that I have to say this today, but someone will say, "You're a piece of
I know.
shut up." It's like, and replace everything with YouTube screens and communities. No video games, none of that bullshit. No SpongeBob, no Family Guy, just educational. How to run a business, how to do this, how to underwater basket weave. Whatever.
Both my kids have already started like small businesses, and they're 9
I
and
love
10,
that.
and have my daughter was doing dog walking, and my son tried to do dog poop scoop in the neighborhood and didn't really get it off the ground. But now they're both wanting to do YouTube, and we're actually starting to like watch some videos. And I haven't even jumped into YouTube yet, but my daughter wants to do one about rock climbing.
You
She absolutely
should,
loves
because
it,
your
and my
business
son
would
wants to
blow
do
up.
Legos. Well,
Your
yeah, I know.
automation
It's
side
on
would
my
blow
list.
up.
After our call yesterday, our social media call, I already set up my TikTok. So I'm jumping into all the different things, and taking your guys' advice, because there's definitely social media pieces I haven't touched yet. But my kids wanted to know how that works, and you raise kids that understand how to make money work for them, not how to exchange their time for money. That's what I want for my kids, at least.
Well, you're teaching them critical thinking and problem solving. I think the worst thing you could do is just leave an inheritance behind and say, "Here's $1 million," because they'll burn through it. Most people beg and plead and cry for money, but I never hear them ask for the skills to fucking manage it.
Mm-hmm.
Have fun
No,
with
I
your
agree.
lotto.
Our kids have been handling money since they were 3 years old.
I love
And
that.
we didn't do that until we were moving out of our parents' house.
For
So
Christmas
got to
this year,
change
I'll
the
send you
trajectory.
a VIP mom trophy or something.
we just want to change it. We grew up in a very small, we both grew up in a small town, 14,000 people, very small school. Parents had, they worked their butts off. I mean, we had amazing parents, my husband and I, and they worked their butts off, but they, middle to low income family, and we just wanted to try something different, and we've never been afraid of risks. And for those that are listening, when it comes to whether it's automation or leads or marketing, whatever it is, if you are not comfortable with risk, then being a business owner is probably just not the right fit for you, or you should get real comfortable real fast.
You chose to join the hardest industry in the world. The hardest industry. Do not blame anybody but yourself. You made a decision, own up to it. But it's like when people tell me they're scared to spend 10, 20 grand in a cut, like I have invested over $200,000 in coaching masterminds and mentorships to get every single skill that I need.
Mm-hmm.
And I've increased my earning capacity so much to where I can't even buy the skills now. Like I have to get creative with how I network now. So like instead of buying more marketing shit, like go start up a nonprofit to donate to and help single moms raise their boys. And it's like you'll meet other like-minded people,
mm-hmm.
and that's how they spend money. And you can ask them, well, how'd you get to your billions now that I've got to millions? It's a completely different mindset.
Mm-hmm.
But it goes back to the 5 external functions of any business. You have to know how to generate leads. You have to know how to nurture those leads, how you maintain the relationships. You have to have a sales process. You have to have a fulfillment process. You actually have to make good on the promises that you made on the sales call, or else they'll sue you for stealing. Then retention and ascension. Only two ways to grow a business: get more customers or make them buy more times, make them worth more.
Mm-hmm.
But when I ask an agency owner, well, what's your LTV? What's your net gross profit? What's your EBITDA? Like, huh?
Yeah, I mean to invest the time, right? Like we are big, we really like Audible books. Like if you're not reading, I have a hard time with paperback
I
because
love
reading
Audible.
really puts me to sleep. It like just relaxes my mind and I fall asleep. But I love Audible. If I'm not working, if I'm not talking to someone, if I'm like building automation or content or I'm doing something, I always have something in my ear. The other day when I missed your live, I watched the recording while I was sitting there building out, accounts and systems. But if I'm driving, I don't listen to the radio. I don't even know what new music is out.
Get
No
rid of the
idea. I
rap
don't watch
songs.
TV. We have some streaming. We'll usually pick like one show. We'll watch a couple times a week. We don't watch TV. We don't watch the news. We don't listen to music. We are listening to books on relationships, marriage, money, parenting, business. It's what you put in.
Listen to sales calls on your way to your
Yeah.
next appointment, whatever. What you measure multiplies 100% of the time. I don't care about listening to Cardi B talk about shaking her ass, twerking, it's
Oh
stupid.
my gosh. Don't even.
Listen to the shit people like put all of their attention to. We wonder why we have a TikTok goldfish attention span of 3 seconds. Then we forget.
I was having a conversation around some stuff that was going on in politics that was literally impacting like my business at the time with a family member of mine, and it was political, and this person didn't enjoy that, got kind of upset about the conversation, but then wanted to tell me about what celebrity was it? I think it was Britney Spears, something Britney Spears had done on Instagram, and that was what she wanted to spend her time on, and I'm like, I, oh, okay. Like I don't even care. I don't want to hear it. It doesn't matter to me what she's doing. But the things that were impacting that person as a business owner as well, that were impacting, policies and rules that we had to follow, didn't want to have that conversation, but wanted to talk about Britney Spears. And I'm like,
Here's the thing, like
no.
I think you have such a unique offer to insurance agents that you will be able to scale that to financial professionals after that for CP, like whatever, CFPs. Your unique, like, intelligence when it comes to automation is a skill that most people do not have. So they buy these shitty ads, courses, or whatever, and they wonder why they're not getting any results because it sends them like 2 text messages and that's it. That's their sequence. And like they will get so jealous that you or me will make so much money a month because you're about to clear the 6 figures mark a month. It's going to happen.
I know.
Goodwill compounds. No, here's the thing: you give more than you take. That's
Dude,
why I
we are
respect you.
pushing business away. I just had a call with one of my new gals I just hired this month, and she's like, we need more help. I'm like, okay, I got to start hiring again. But yeah, we are telling
That's the
people no
thing
because
is
there's too much coming.
they'll see your post on making $70,000 in 1 month, and they'll go, huh, must be nice. But they won't spend the next hour working out how you built that. And it's just back to twerking videos, back to the porn website, back to Cardi B. And when I call this shit out, people are like, Cardi B is a strong role model for women independence. And I'm like, yeah, I want my daughter listening to Come Park It in My Dump Truck, bitch. Like,
Oh my God. Is that in a song? That's
it's
horrible.
something
I've
like
never heard
that.
any
She's
of her
like,
music.
I don't cook, I don't clean, but let me tell you, I got this ring. Like, yeah, go tell your daughter to listen to that. And when she finds a man who just walks all over her, you can blame yourself. Like these women today want a traditional man, but they're not traditional women. It's
No, I agree.
disgusting.
In my marriage, we've been together for this May will be 18 years. So I've spent more of my life with my husband than not. I met him when I was 17 years old, and I, I run a business. I'm a strong woman. I'm super opinionated. He actually was joking about that last night, how stubborn I was, but he still said, he's like, I wouldn't change you for the world, right? I wouldn't change him for the world. We are imperfect humans in a relationship. But if your only value is the fact that you are a woman and you can put out, you're not going to get a quality relationship out of that. I'm sorry. That's just not how it works.
No, men want peace. When I see women on Facebook say, well, I want someone who can handle me. No one wants to fucking handle you. I don't want to come home after working on problems all day to work on more problems.
My husband and I we're actually waiting for this program to start. We're going to be doing marriage ministry at our church to help other married couples. But every
Thank
time I hear
you.
this stuff, I always ask women to reverse it. If you were dating a man and he goes, you better be able to handle me, would you sign up for that? Probably not. Like, just reverse it. Anything that you think a man should do for you, you have to be willing to do for him. That's how it works. So if your mindset, if you're like, gosh, if my husband said that to me, I would be
I
pissed,
would
then
get a
don't
new
say it
one.
to him. Then
That's
don't
the
say it to
mindset
him.
today. There's no stigma attached. I
Love
took a
how
girl out
Automation
on a date a
Queen Mariah
couple weeks ago. She was doing this the whole time. I said, "Do you need to step out for like a call?" She was like, "No." And she got back on her phone. I said, "You know what? Bring the bill over here. I'll pay it. You have a great rest of your day." And she's like, "Well, if you're going to be a dick, that's fine. I can go get a new one." I was like, "There's no stigma attached. A man says something a girl doesn't like, new dick." It's
I'm sorry.
disgusting.
I mean, it's true. And then they, I don't know. I could go on forever about this, honestly, because I think women have a
It's the
very
whole mindset. Like
ambiguous
when I look at
relationships.
my grandparents, well, we worked on it together and we fixed it. We didn't just go get a new one. Nowadays, there's no stigma attached.
The
It's swipe
advice is
right.
always be
It's swipe
happy,
right at
right?
2
If you're
a.m.
not happy, then just move on. Find someone that won't make you cry. I'm sorry, like you're gonna cry. Those are relationships. It's hard to coexist with someone. My husband and I separated. We went through 2 years of marriage counseling. I almost had divorce papers written up twice, but we did not give up on each other. And I can honestly say I understand more now about relationships, commitment, and love than I ever did, and felt more love for him now than I did when we got married. And that is the journey. Anyone in a long-term relationship, that is the journey. You're going to get all the butterflies. It's going to get really bad. You got to work together through it, and then it's going to get great if you can do that. But most people just give up when it gets bad.
It comes
And
down
it's
to
kind of the same thing in
respect.
business. Kind of the same thing in business, right? Things get really tough, they get hard, and you don't know where to go. And instead of getting help, you just suffer alone. I never understood that. We did counseling for 2 years. Counseling is very similar, in my opinion, to like business coaches, right? If you are struggling and you just don't know how to get out of where you are, you're not going to be able to fix your own problems. You either have to read books or listen to YouTube videos or do whatever, or get someone on your team that knows how to get you out of where you are and help you. And the coach you need might be someone like Mason. You might need automation, you might need marketing. It depends on what your business needs and where you're struggling. But just don't keep doing the same thing over and over expecting a different result. That is literally the definition of insanity.
It's just disgusting. And here's the thing: I don't even blame women for the problems today. I blame weak men because they'll let a girl disrespect them. They'll let a girl they'll give all their attention away, buy them flowers, send them money to go out to the bar. And it's like, what are you doing? There's no value exchange right there. You're a yes man. She says, come here, and you come wagging your tail.
And that will destroy any relationship. Or you're
Well,
just
that's the thing.
unhappy.
Weak men hurt women, and then the cycle continues. But it's man. I fully take responsibility. It's men's fault. She would not have cheated on me if I was someone worth not cheating on. If I could have fulfilled her needs, if I could have kept her safe. Like Mariah, let me ask you a question. If you and your husband were walking down the street and someone was coming to rob you guys, would you fight him or would you want your husband to fight the dude off?
Yeah, we already have plans for all that stuff. My husband walks on
Exactly.
he walks on the roadside of any sidewalk, because if a car were to lose control, he would be in front of that besides me. That is his role as a protector of our family. We both are big proponents of self-defense, so we know how to defend ourselves. But yeah, we go out in the woods a lot. Like, my husband's a big hunter. We ride horses and camp and dirt bikes, and if we have contingencies around wild animals, if we had the kids, how that would all line out. But he is the one who fights those battles, and that is the way
Exactly. It's
God
not your
intended it.
job.
And
Like, he has to risk his life to keep you safe. You take off running, screaming. Ah!
and I have zero doubt that would happen at all.
I'll shoot first, ask questions later. It's that simple. You can't trust people in the world today. I was walking through East St. Louis and some dude tried like yanking me by my hoodie and robbing me. Just, is this the road you want to go down?
It's terrifying.
Not really, but it's just that's how the world is nowadays. You can't trust people. You can't trust the goodwill in people. You can't just leave your doors unlocked anymore. You can't leave the keys in the car anymore. No one values their life more than they value your possessions. It's like, if you're that
Yeah, no,
stupid,
And it's the same thing in anything, right? I've had a lot of friends that unfortunately had been taken advantage of. You're talking about like lead companies and coaches and different things like that. I had a friend who bought a house and just the people representing her did not have her best interest at heart, and she got really screwed over. And at the end of the day, she trusted people to do right by her, but she is the only one who cares as much about her as anybody else, right? You care about yourself the most. So do your due diligence, ask questions, invest in yourself, learn these things. If you're going to buy a house, learn what that looks like. If you're going to, invest in a coach, do your research, learn, ask questions, be prepared to do the work. Don't invest in a coach or an automation process or marketing program and think it's a magic silver bullet. Like that doesn't exist. You can't throw money at a problem and do no work. It just doesn't happen. And I hear that all the time. Like there's the coaching program I bought, the first one I bought, people will like talk down on it. And my first question is, how long did you follow the program? How long did you follow the process? How many hours did you put in? How many weeks did you do it for? How many hours? And the answer is like, I did it for a week or two and then it just didn't work. Problem's not the coaching program, man. The problem's you. And it's going to be the same thing when you buy the next coaching program. You have to do the work.
Well, that's like the main thing in my coaching program is I have to give them what they want in order to give them what they need. So the first thing we got to do is make a sale really quick. That way they know it works. It's only worked for a couple hundred agents. I don't know why it wouldn't work for you. Just random. You were the outlier. And then I'll use hypnosis, all the shit I've learned in NLP, and it completely reshapes their brain. And they're like, oh, I'm not a victim anymore. And then they go like 10x. And that's when it gets really fun because then they don't even need me that much. And it's all profit. But if I can do the same thing in their business, it's invaluable. And you save your life. When I hear people say you got rid of my suicidality, my porn addiction, you saved my marriage, that's the difference in me being a coach. I'm by far the best at what I do. And when I say that, people get rubbed the wrong way. Like, look at this arrogant, sexist piece of shit. Like, you are the most important person in your world. And no one, like Mariah's not going to wake up jumping up and down saying, I'm going to go make Mason money today. Like if you genuinely walk through life thinking you're the best at what you do, that will only help you. Mm-hmm. That will only help you. No, so let's cut to the commercial break. You'll see this. Let me know your thoughts on it.
Okay.
Thanks for tuning in. It's Mason VanMeter. Just a brief moment of your time. This is important, I promise, and we'll get right back into the video. I understand that most people that watch my videos, funnily enough, are not actually insurance agents. You're a family, you're a brother, you're a mother, father, sister, whatever the case is, and we all know social media is not going anywhere. Now, I know most of you are probably going to have some type of financial burden that you're going to leave behind in the event that something unfortunately happens to you. Now, what we see on social media is 99% of these insurance agents pitching these ideas like infinite banking, tax-free retirement, and to be quite honest, most of them do not know how to structure these policies at all. Now, why is it important to you? Because they're going to put their own pocket bank first. They're going to put their commission raise first. They're going to put this free trip to Hawaii, all expenses paid, first. How are they going to do that? They're going to screw you over on an insurance policy that they were taught to drive up target premiums on. That way they get a fatter commission deposit. And I think that's wrong. So before you buy into one of these concepts that these people just clearly do not know how to use. So before you buy into one of these get-rich-quick schemes as one of these TikTok or social media insurance agents showed you, understand that they're putting their best interest first instead of your best interest. And I think if you've been following me for a while, you understand that I train insurance agents to always put their prospect and their client's best interest first, because when you do good in the world gives you good back. And that's a principle that I'll live the rest of my life on. So before you sign any type of applications or paperwork with someone who's pitching these concepts that they just do not understand to you, reach out to me on any social media platform at Mason VanMeter. I'm not that hard to find. Or text the number on the screen and I'll partner you with one of my agents that I personally trained who is focused on putting your best interest first rather than their own pocket bank. Like I said, I understand most of you are going to leave some type of financial burden behind, and you don't want to do that. You want to be someone who's remembered as someone who planned ahead and someone who cared enough about their family and friends and loved ones to protect them before the disaster strikes. Let's go ahead and plan for the vacation that we know we're going to take one day. So reach out to me or once again text the number on the screen and I'll partner you with an agent who's going to put your best interest first instead of their own bank account. Thanks for watching. Let's dive back into the video. Beep.
So true.
I love it, but at least I know these people will be getting taken care of right the first time.
Yeah, it's true. when I got my securities licenses, which I just let go because I don't spend the time to be a really good quality financial advisor, and I wouldn't want to give anyone any subpar services. But when I got into it and started learning about the products and all of these things and the difference in commissions, I feel like that those, like if you sit down with any financial advisor and if you ask, well, how do you get paid or anything like that, and they say there's no fees, like just get up, walk out and say no, thank you, because there is always some kind of commission built in. I'm talking investment products, not life insurance. There's not a fee.
I'm really glad you brought that up, because aren't people like required to be registered as fiduciaries, or they try playing the broker fiduciary hat?
Well, but the thing is, yeah, so you're supposed to have your client's best interest at heart. It's super, super regulated, right? But at the end of the day, if you sell an annuity versus a mutual fund, you make a ton more money on that annuity. And I don't understand why that's even legal. It should be the same, because I'm sorry, it's just human.
Well, a variable
right? They're
annuity
like
is that. A variable, if we're talking the
whatever one. Yeah, there's all different kinds, obviously. But if you
fixed
compare
indexes are going to be insurance based, not investment.
So if you compare the commissions though on those, if someone has all the licenses to sell all the products, they're going to make more money selling you a certain product. And if they're kind of close, or one takes a little bit more time to educate you on that might be better, there's a good chance that they're going to take the easy road, the higher commission, and sell you a product that maybe isn't right. And I saw it over and over and over. And as I would talk to clients in the investment world, I would say, well, what is your fee base? What's the fee structure? And they're like, well, there's no fees.
8%.
Your advisors telling me that there's no fees, that pay their company profit, their salary. There's no fees. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, you need to read your paperwork or get a new advisor. Like that's just not true. And that's how it is in the insurance world with life policies too. Because if you're doing life policies that you need to have strategic plan for estate planning, taxes, anything like that, you have got to maintain them. And if you haven't heard from your agent in years, then they're not doing you any favors. They got their commission on the front end and they're just letting it sit.
My favorite thing is when I see money management fees for like 4%. Like, what the fuck?
There's a lot of that.
Like, look at all these bullshit fees. I actually recommend Tony Robbins' book, Unshakable. It has so much great advice when it comes to investing stuff and finding a good CP, like whatever that stuff is. Finding a good financial advisor is very hard.
Mm-hmm.
But 50% of my business selling life insurance was from replacements. They'd lie on policy saying, well, they're not a smoker, or they are, like, they'd lie on the policy. Like, did you know that when you die, this is not going to pay out?
Yeah.
Like,
Accessibility clause.
It's stupid. And it's like,
but in general, like it's just honesty in our society, right, is an interesting concept that unfortunately has become less and less regular. Like you just don't see it as much because there's just not a lot of values. Like our values have changed a lot, right? I actually had a customer who walked into my insurance agency before he moved it, and I had a Bible verse on the wall, and he didn't want to deal with us because we had a Bible verse on the wall. I'm like, wouldn't you think that like maybe some answering to a higher power of ethics might be a good thing in business? Like, I don't care if you agree with me on my religion. That's totally up to you. But, it's clear that I believe that there are some consequences to my decisions and actions, that are guiding our principles. And I think that if more people had that, we wouldn't have to be as skeptical or watch out for misleading business practices. If we all treated our customers the way we wanted them to treat our grandmothers or our mothers, hopefully a good relationship with your mom, but the ones we love, then we would all run really great businesses and you wouldn't have to be so skeptical. But unfortunately, that's not the world we live in. So you need to take time to educate yourself, read books, know the questions to ask, so that you can find good service providers. And then, for your business, obviously, like be that good service provider. If you're an insurance agent watching this, be that person, because it does come around. Like your reputation is more valuable than any lead, any marketing program. My company bought another insurance company, and the product they rolled out to us, they didn't do it well, and it's a mess, and it causes a lot of customer service problems. And so in my agency, I just said, we're not selling it. 40% of the time, it is a cheaper product for our prospects. So we lose out on that business, but I will not risk our reputation as a service provider, as an insurance agency in the area, and provide a subpar product. It's just not worth it to me.
No, you live on principles, and I love that. That's like why Chick-fil-A does not open on Sundays. I was
Mhm.
watching Alex
Exactly.
Hormozzi's video on how much money they would make additional per year. It was 600 million. Do you
Oh
know
my God.
how good of a mindset you have to say no to 600 million?
That's crazy. And I mean, they run an amazing operation, and they have come up against so much fire in our society, right? And they don't blink.
When I see those videos of people like running like, Mrs., you forgot your cat, like whatever, and it's a Chick-fil-A agent like running through traffic to deliver the food or something. I love that.
Well,
I
and
do
think
not
about
need
it. Like, I mean,
anymore. I love it.
I don't know about you, but I have never seen like a hiring sign at Chick-fil-A. People are going to work there. Like, they want to work there because it's a good place to work, and it's a great environment, and it's a smooth operation. You know, McDonald's always has like now hiring. They're always looking for people because it's not that quality. So I had an insurance agent ask me this the other day about she's trying to find employees, and I'm like, gosh, I put a posting up once on Indeed, but over the last year, because I'm so active on my social media and I talk about my business and the culture and the flexibility, and we're working moms and we put our families first, people come to me. The last 3 people I have hired reached out to me wanting to work with us because of the culture we have that we talk about. So create a good culture and talk about it. Let people know, and you'll find employees, and you're also going to find customers. People are going to want to work with you when you have things in common with them. And I love how you preach the organic marketing and all the different ways to do that, because that's sustainable, right? Your reputation will stick and it'll spread faster than you can even imagine.
Well, that's the thing, and it's like how much I shit on ads. It's not for a certain reason. I'm just saying you don't need to worry about spending money that you don't even have. Like why I'm so fucking convicted in what I do is because there are agents who are wasting tens of thousands of dollars on bought and reshared and resold leads, events to get you to do jumping jacks and sweat and leave with nothing. And it's like these people are getting fucked over. They're getting bent over the bed saying, bite the pillow. I'm going. They don't even get told to bite the pillow. They just go in dry. They get raped. They get graped. It's disgusting.
Oh my gosh.
It's disgusting. Like, and here's the
I know.
thing. The people doing this shit, they cannot beat me up. So I'm not fucking worried about anything they have to say. If they have a problem with it, I'm not that fucking hard to find.
Yeah.
I'm a man
Definitely
at the
not
end of the
afraid of the
day.
fight.
I'm a man at the end of the day. Like you find too many people like me and Carson Porter standing in the same place at the same time, there's going to be a war. That's just how it
That's why
is.
it's good you guys stay on Zoom. Keep you apart.
Probably, especially at his little upcoming bourbon party. But it's like,
Oh no.
I love advertisements. I was spending over $1,000 a day to get leads for my coaching company. I made a lot of money really quick, but I was like, hold up. Just because I'm making sales doesn't mean the product is really good. That's the problem I see people make is they'll make a lot of sales, but they never slow down enough to fix the product and the customer
Mm-hmm.
journey experience.
Mm-hmm.
So they think they're getting like rewarded from the market when really you're just finding people who already want what you have. You're going to burn through them really quick.
Well, and like I said with the automation stuff, right? The idea is that if you are buying a bunch of leads and you're not retouching and you're not following up for several weeks, I mean, we reach out to a lead for 14 business days, so 2.5 weeks before we stop the first time. I mean, that's a lot of communication over that time, and we get a ton of people that respond day 10, day 11. Gosh, my phone was just blowing up with insurance agents calling me, and like now it's quieted down, and like, yeah, I still need help, but it was too overwhelming. We get that all the time, so if you are spending all that money, you might need to do a little bit, like you said, you were spending money to get sales initially. You might have to do that at some point in your business. You're going to probably have to spend some money on marketing or have someone to run your social media for you, because you're going to have to run other parts of your business. Those are things that are going to happen. But if you aren't maximizing what you already have, why spend more money? Why throw more money at more leads when you have a huge database of people that you aren't even touching? You're not using what you've already spent. The idea in my mind, and when I work with insurance agents that are buying a bunch of leads and we start automating, I tell them, with this compiling effect of like recycling and retouching and win backs and all this stuff, you should see your marketing costs come down. You should need less money, or you need to hire more people because you're going to have more opportunity. So either you decide to reduce your marketing and like kind of keep your staff if you're hitting your goals, or bring in more people because you're going to have more opportunity than you can handle.
They just solve problems out of sequence. It's like someone comes up to me in, let's just say even the gym. Like I've done this now for 3 years consistently. I've got a pretty nice physique, but I see people that I went to school with that are all skinny now from all the drugs they use and all the pills they pop. And it's like, dude, what have you been doing? How'd you get so big? I want to get as big. Like, I don't want to get as big as you. It's like, you're not going to trip over a machine and get fucking jacked. It's like, why are you solving problems out of sequence? You're worried about your customer problem when you haven't even made a sale yet. Why are you buying a CRM?
Yeah. Yeah, we had that call yesterday on the social media, and one of the agents chatted in and was saying, like, where do I start? This is so much, right? I want to do social media. I want to do automation. Where do I start? I'm like, what does your business need? Seriously, step back and look.
Sales.
What do you need? Do you not have enough opportunity? Then you need to start marketing. If you have more opportunity and you have like a list of names, a massive list that you haven't touched in 6 months, then you need automation. Like, and you need to maximize that list. If your customers are running out the door and your attrition rate is horrible, then you need to stop the bleeding and get a hold of your clients and fix your process. But every business is different. You're going to be in different areas based on what's going on. So you need to diagnose.
Well, that's why you can always go back to those 5 external functions. Okay,
Yeah.
I've got this running now. Let's focus on this. Go through the whole cycle and then restart and fix it. It's cyclical. Let's fix our lead generation. Now let's nurture those leads, and you can always redo the wheel. But it's
and
like
innovate, you guys. Like redoing the wheel, like that's the innovation, right? Like, so I had an agent I talked to who we were doing, his son had convinced him to finally get a CRM, but he refused to get texting. Refused. Like, I've never texted. I've been an agent for 30 years. I'm like, yeah, so what? Like, the world isn't the same as it was 30 years ago. But if you do not innovate, and that's any business, I don't care how needed, if you've got a huge renewal book of business, great. But if you don't innovate and someone else next door is, you're going to lose those customers. And you're not going to stay in business.
It comes to this point right here. You're always running 2 businesses, the one you're in and the one you're becoming. Too many people get stuck in the day-to-day, or you get stuck dreaming and never working. These are values level 5 and 6 beliefs. I'm not sure if you've ever studied like Claire Gray's, but there's evolutions to consciousness. Level 5s are the entrepreneurs who just want to take. They always get ostracized, kicked out of the group. The level 6s are so smart that they're dumb when it comes to just doing the work. They have all these ideas, but they need the 5s to do it for them. They can't execute. So it's like, I highly recommend everyone go pick up the book like Values, the Evolution of Consciousness, or study that, because you'll see why like religious people have certain beliefs. And it's like, not to poop on religion, but it's sacrifice now, reward later. Follow this set of rules to get to a certain outcome. Whatever name of the religion, it's all practically their set of views. You follow these rules, you get here.
Mm-hmm.
Submit now, reward when you get to heaven. I think they're beautiful principles to live on. They're beautiful. Like, if you just treat everyone with respect, I don't think it's like so impossible to have a shitty life.
Yeah, actually, our pastor in one of our sermons, he was saying this exact thing. He goes, for anyone who's a naysayer about whatever it is you believe in, right? If there's people that are, are not going to agree with you, and he said, so I'm a Christian, we, believe Christ saved us and do right by people, and that's pretty much it. And he goes, even if we're wrong, it is a better way to live. It's a better way to live. What are you losing, right? Like you're talking about Cardi B. I don't want that life. I don't want any of that. I don't want a new man every couple of months. I have family members, extended family members, who do that. Horrible. They're miserable. I don't want that. Right. So the values, like, figure out what you want in life and live by that. And it just applies to business too. It's no different. Like, you can't run your life one way and your business another. You're going to have like internal conflict.
And it's always usually a clash of beliefs. It's so funny. It's just cognitive dissonance. I'm the healthiest person out there. Why are you smoking?
That's funny.
Like, or this dude is eating raw liver. You're nasty. Like, you eat ass. Don't come after me. Like, I'm just real. This is the problems that go on in the fucking world today. Don't come at me. Like, STIs are on the rise. You keep your dirty mouth away from mine. Don't drink after me. Nothing. This is my life and I'm going to live it how I want to. No one understands the context of your life better than you.
Yeah.
It's that
People
simple.
that judge, they'll get there. They'll get
They
to the
want to be
point where they
right.
don't judge anymore because they've lived enough life and they realize you can't judge people.
Do you want to be right or do you want to be in relationship? Do you want to be right or do you want to be in business?
Being humble, right? Like, I mean, understanding that you're not going to have all the right answers in business. It's okay to ask for help. You're not going to have all the right answers when it comes to your relationships. You need to ask for help. You know, I'm not going to, never mind. I'll not talk about that thought, but probably would not go well when this gets pushed out. Anyways, but just at the end of the day, you know, if you are stuck, if you have problems in your business, whatever it is, coaches, you know, people who are going to charge for their services, there's a reason that they can charge for their services,
No one
right?
likes
Because
free shit. They don't
right.
value it.
Actually, I had that conversation with an agent, with another business in my building around free. He's like, well, it's free to start. I'm like, there's no value in that. Nobody thinks that you have anything to offer if you're giving it away for free. Because if there's value in it, it's going to cost money because there's a demand. Like I just said, I'm turning business away. We're trying to figure out, we have a demand within our business that's not even part of our business. And we're trying to figure out how to solve it for these agents because they need our help. And I'm like, but that's not really part of our business. So we're like trying to figure out if we even want to touch that. And there's thousands and thousands of dollars in it. But do I want to do it? I don't know yet, right? I have to figure that out.
You
So
have to get good at
if
saying
you,
no.
yeah, oh my gosh, that has been a huge piece. We've turned down. I've had agents ask me to come to their office. Can you fly down? You know, I'll pay, fly down here and teach my staff this stuff. I'm like, and I say no to that not because of like money or time, because I don't want to leave my kids. No, my kids are little. When they're graduating out of the house, sure, I'll travel around the country and go and teach your
That's
staff
when
and
you can
live. That'd be
start
so much
slapping
fun,
price
but
tags
not right
that
now.
make them not want to buy it. And if they're willing to, awesome. This normally costs 10,000, but I got to be away from my kids. I'll do it for 60.
Yeah. Maybe that'll be my new approach now. Can you fly down here? Yeah, it's $100,000. That's my way of telling you no. I feel like that's the way the insurance companies tell us they don't want us to write certain businesses. They just jack the premium.
It's disgusting. Well,
You know,
what's one
uh,
tip that people can start implementing for their CRMs or their automation that can help them in their business? Like, what do you think is going to be the most impactful?
I think the easiest thing you can do that's not going to cost you money is you want to look at your low hanging fruit. If you haven't cross sold your book in a long time, then you should start there. You have a lot of leads there. If you have not requoted people you quoted last year, then you should be reaching back out. Anyone who didn't buy that you spoke with, you should be touching them at least every 6 to 12 months. And then people that have canceled policies, you need to be reaching back out to them as well. That is easy. They are in your book. You have a lot of those, unless you just started, a month ago. But that is the first thing. People do not maximize what they already have in front of them. They keep looking for the next, magic wand to wave over their agency and they're going to make all that money. It's not there. That's not a magic
And
wand.
here's the
But
crazy
you
thing
have
about that.
those people in your business now.
You can pass that book of business to someone else who's the expert. I had like over 400 people in my book of business after just 1 year that I gave to someone. They wrote like 50 grand in 1 week. Like I already made hundreds of thousands on them, but they were doing health insurance shit. So they sold into that book of business. I was like, you know what? I bet they have annuities in there. So I was getting paid 50% of whatever they sold for doing 0% of the work.
Mm-hmm. Strategic partnerships. I know. I can't wait to jump more into Carson's program because he talks about that so much, about those partnerships with
Insurance
different
agents,
businesses.
mortgage lender, like whatever, mortgage brokers, divorce attorneys, funeral planners. Go fucking network
CPAs,
with
they're
these
working with
people.
businesses. If you're doing commercial stuff and you want to do group life or health insurance, I mean, people that have your client, that's who you want to talk to. Go make friends with them.
Same thing with like Uber Eats. They said, well, we're shipping food to this place. They're helping people get fed. People come to the restaurant to get fed. So why don't we stand in between the money and deliver it to them?
Mm-hmm.
We'll stand in front of the money. That's it.
Make it
You'll
easier.
catch some dollars.
Yeah, no, I
So
agree. So that would be my biggest tip is that people need to look within what they have and maximize it. Don't keep looking for something new. Now, once you've done that, once you've maximized it and you have a good system in place when it comes to automation, there's some key stuff like, don't make your automation long. Your emails should not be an essay. People aren't going to read them. They don't have the attention span these days. Create something catchy that grabs their attention. Emojis and subject lines of emails is becoming more and more popular. Statistically, it increases your open rate by about 40%. Don't overuse them. Don't have a crazy emoji in every single subject line,
just get
but
their
sprinkle it
attention.
in. sprinkle it in there. Have one every so often. Don't do anything offensive, because that's the world we live in.
No
But
eggplant. No fucking eggplants.
oh my gosh, right. Anyways, but just have something in there, keep it to the point, and have a question that is asking for an easy response. If you say, when can I call you to set up an appointment? Like, I'm sorry, they're looking at that email and they're like, oh my gosh, I got to get my kids to school and make dinner. And there's the dog's throwing up. And like, I don't know when to call me. Like, they're busy, right? So just ask a simple question. Like, one of our best responses, if you're in property and casualty, we get home insurance leads from like lenders or vendors or whatever. And we say, how old is your roof? And they get the text and they're like, 5 years, because they know that immediately. Or they'll say 5 to 10 years. And then as soon as they text, we call them because their phone is in their hand. And if they don't answer, we call one more time. We double dial and we text. And like, don't worry about, I have agents that say with automation, I worry about like bombarding them or asking too many times. Who cares? The people who are going to say no are going to say no, no matter how many times you ask.
Get them out of the
way. They're going to say yes. You're limiting yourself on your opportunity by just worrying about what they think. Just keep asking. Just ask. Anyways, that would be my advice. Keep it short, keep it simple. Ask a question that's an easy response that they can think of quickly. Keep following up. Don't give up after a couple days. Just keep going. Be persistent. And if they don't respond, try in 6 months, try in a year. Keep going. You're going to see the value of the money that you're spending or the marketing that you're doing, the time you're spending to do organic marketing, if you continue. Every large business out there continually markets. They never stop. They never stop hitting you up unless you've unsubscribed. And when people unsubscribe from my stuff, I just can't send them things anymore. That's fine. I'm still going to fill up my pipeline with new opportunities. So have that mindset and don't get hung up on it being perfect. Agents, they hire me because they don't know what to create in the content and the workflows and the timing. And we've tested a lot of stuff, but I have made mistakes where I've sent out completely the wrong information to like 50
no, they want to be right, so they'll correct you.
Oh my gosh. I sent out an automation that was supposed to go to leads and it went to existing customers, made no damn sense at all. And these people are like, what is this? And I'm getting all these responses. And I'm like, I'm sorry, we have a new software, my bad. But we wrote a ton of business out of that because they were responding and we just called them. Oh, I wanted to apologize personally. By the way, I've been meaning to ask you about this, right? And we just transitioned it. Contact is contact. Don't worry. Don't get too hung up on it. Just start doing it.
No, so money's in a follow-up. 80% of your sales guys will come on the 12th to 15th point of contact. Just be relentless with it.
Mm-hmm.
Be relentless with it. So, Mariah, where can these people find you if they want to get a CRM set up with Agency Zoom? Like, who are you looking for?
So I'm a consultant with Agency Zoom. We haven't stepped into any other like CRMs officially yet, but I've helped people with different things. So my website is agencyzoomautomation.com. agencyzoomautomation.com. I also run a Facebook group for insurance agents that anybody can join if you're an agent. It's called Insurance Automation. It's free. I have a private group as well. That's a paid group and stuff. But the open group, the Insurance Automation, we did an interview with Mason on there. We're interviewing different softwares. I've interviewed competitor CRMs that we don't work with. We want to provide you as many resources as we can that you can decide what fits best. We want to be able to show you like, how does this stuff look and feel before you decide you really want to jump on a sales call with that company. So that Insurance Automation group is great, free resources. We're trying to fill up as much awesome value in there as we can. And then if you need help or you decide that Agency Zoom is best for you, agencyzoomautomation.com is how you can contact me. You can schedule a call with Kenzie. She's my sales rep. So she'll answer all the questions, show you the system, demo it. We really, really, really want to make sure that we are the right fit for you before we pull the trigger. I have had 0 unhappy clients. I have had 0 bad reviews of my service in the last 2 years because we'll tell you if we're not right for you, and we don't want to work with you if it's not a good fit.
This is how you grow a business, folks. Mariah, appreciate you being on here. I got to jump off here and call Luis over at Fully Covered. So,
yay! I love him.
I appreciate you being on here. I can't wait to drop us, and I'll tag you when it does. You can go ahead and hop off here and play the outro. And
Thanks
you
for having
guys
me.
Go drop some comments and go give this girl some business. She's earned it.
Bye. Thanks again.